Meet Alex.
Alright, hello Alex.
He's always been a skeptic,
I mean, that's good.
never fully sure about the existence of God.
Right, yeah, I'm right there with you.
He's studied logic, science, and philosophy,
I feel like that's pretty typical of people that are searching for an answer on this question.
and he can't find any concrete proof that would convince him to believe.
Well, there doesn't appear to be any, so that makes sense.
But one night, while sitting alone, in a cafe,
As we all do, I suppose.
Alex overhears an old man talking about Blaise Pascal,
Blaise, I really hate these fucking AI voices.
a 17th century French mathematician, and his wager.
I think this might be the worst argument that I've ever personally heard, but let's continue.
The old man says, imagine you're in a game where you can't see the prize.
What possible reason would I have to give a fuck about this game then?
You can either bet that God exists and live a life of faith.
We're at our first option and it's already loaded with problems. For example, which God? I'm gonna let this continue, but we've already encountered a massive issue.
Or you can bet that he doesn't and live however you like.
The seemingly logical choice is we haven't even narrowed down a God yet. And yes, I know that most people that use this are referring to the Christian God, but since you have no way to prove that that is the one true God, if there even is one, it remains an issue.
If you're right, you lose nothing.
I suppose if you're right, you don't technically lose anything, but that's only if you're right and you pick the correct God out of hundreds, if not, thousands of different options.
But if you're wrong, you lose everything.
Right, and on the topic of being wrong, once again, you could be wrong on what God it is, so that really doesn't mean anything.
Alex's curiosity is piqued.
Curiosity is a good thing, but I don't really know if this argument has ever piqued mine.
Could faith really be this rational?
No, not really, and because they didn't hit on the other part of this topic, I'm going to. So they covered the if you're right, you lose nothing, and if you're wrong, you lose everything, but they didn't cover this part. That if you're wrong and there is absolutely no God, and there is no afterlife, that you don't really lose anything that way either. But you do. You've lost your entire life by dedicating it to something that you can't prove, that you don't know is correct. You stand to lose the joy of experiencing the things in life that the religion says are not right, despite them not actually being wrong. And this goes down to even the smallest of things like movies and music, for example, that the religion might say there is, issues with. Anyway, the whole thing is flawed on a bunch of different levels.
Could the stakes be this high?
They are sort of high, but not in the way that Pascal thought.
He goes home that night thinking about the wager
I don't feel like it requires a lot of thought once the issues are pointed out with it.
and the possibility that maybe, just maybe, faith isn't about proof.
Faith isn't about proof. Even the Bible describes it as a belief in things unseen. If you have proof of something, you don't need faith.
But about taking the leap to trust in something greater than himself.
So, yeah, basically exactly what I just said.
As Pascal himself said, the heart has its reasons which reason knows nothing of.
Right, and those reasons and that faith are not sufficient pathways to the truth. You can simply believe in something all day long based on faith, but that doesn't make it true. And personally, I care a lot more about what I can prove as being true. Because really, there's nothing that you couldn't believe based on faith. You pretty much can't rule anything out based on faith. But if you base things on evidence, you can more than likely rule out the things that are not true. Either way, Pascal's wager is probably one of the worst arguments for God that I have ever heard, and I find that to be shared among a lot of people, including a lot of Christians. It is a weak argument.